This is Arts Alive. I'm Lynda Philippi, and my guests today are Leslie Lucier and John Hamilton. They're here to talk about Gallery's new production of Rumors, which opens on Friday, October
16th.
Fabulous. Welcome to both of you. I'm glad you could be here today.
Thank you.
So I know the Gallery did this show, like we were discussing, probably at least 10 years ago. And then now here we are back again. So what's different this time around, aside from the fact that a much better cast and just
Right. Well, yes.
younger, more lively.
Well, I believe the original production was on the main stage at the Gallery Theater,
Okay.
and this one's actually going to be in the Arena Theater,
Okay.
which kind of adds a little bit to the comedy with a bunch of us kind of running around with our heads cut off. But it's so it's a little more intimate, a little better for that humor.
Okay. And I know that Neil Simon has written a number of other shows that people might be familiar with, such as
Lost in Yonkers.
Odd Couple, Noises Off, which
Yeah.
I feel Rumors is very similar in spirit to.
So, like a dinner party, some couples.
Yes. So John and I are the first couple to arrive to this 10th anniversary of the Deputy Mayor of New York. Him and his wife are celebrating.
And right off the bat, things are going wrong. We're supposed to be a bunch of wealthy socialites here to have a nice, relaxing evening, and already the host has been shot and his wife is missing, and it's just up to the rest of the guests to figure out what happened and how to keep it all quiet.
No scandal.
No scandals.
Right. Avoiding the scandal.
Yes.
So it's obviously not a huge cast, but you've probably got some pretty good people working with you this time around.
Yes, we do have a very strong cast. There's only 10 of us, and 8 of us throughout most of the show. And in the last portion of the second act, there's 2 other actors that come on.
And we're each kind of paired up, sets of 2, couples, couples, couples. So everyone has their own kind of fun little dynamic.
Oh, that's
with
great.
Each other.
Yeah. And I know, Leslie, you've done a number of things at Gallery, and you said, John, that you've been involved in several things over the last year.
Yes, I moved here about a year ago, and I enjoy being a part of theater, so I sought Gallery out. I started in Miracle on 34th Street, and then all this past year I've just been doing show after show after show.
That's great. Well, what made you decide to relocate to this area?
I'm from Washington, D.C. originally, and that's where I've kind of grown up all my life. Oregon, I visited it 10 years ago. I just kind of fell in love with the state. McMinnville was one of the stops on my trip, and I just knew one day I was going to move here, so that's what I did.
That's great. I mean, it seems funny. You're in Washington, D.C. for most of your life. Think, gee, where do I want to move? McMinnville, Oregon. I think it's kind of great, though.
I just love the location. I love the feel. It's what I wanted.
Especially this time of year. It just feels like the perfect little small town with the leaves turning, and it's just so pretty. And yeah, that's great. Yeah, good. So obviously, it's a good fit for you, and Gallery has really benefited from your experience and
That's what
talent.
I've heard.
And
Yes,
yeah.
thank you.
Don't want to say it too loudly, but and Leslie, you've done a number of productions with
This
Gallery.
is my third show within the since last year. And last year I was in Secret Garden, I was Dickon, and then I was in Honk that Carolyn McCloskey also directed, and I was Queenie and a few other animal characters in that one.
This is fun, so it's great for you guys to come together and do something, for you, something maybe a little bit more adult.
Yes,
time.
this is the first time at Gallery that I've actually played a female character that is a woman, like a human being. So, yeah, it's fun.
Okay, so yeah, working against type here.
Right.
That's great. And I mean, the show is obviously snappy,
It is.
very snappy, so timing is a big deal.
Yes, everything kind of has to move very fast, very high energy, and almost every other line is a joke. Like our first read through of this script, we had to keep stopping to laugh at every single line. So it's going to be very enjoyable.
I think it's always one of those things where with comedy like this, it's that tricky balance because you don't want it to drag ever. Like you never want it to drag, but you also have to give people that extra half beat to like
To
get
get
it.
the joke, yeah.
You have to get it before you can really move on. Otherwise, like, oh, that was funny, and then you've moved on, and then they've missed something. So I would think that that'd be a really difficult part of a show like this is trying to gauge the beat of not knowing how much they're going to laugh and how quickly, on any given day, the audience is going to really respond.
Right, and it does vary from night to night. So if one audience the previous night thought this little bit was funny, it may be dead air the next night. And that is a challenge that we know that we're up against because right now it's been Carolyn and a few of our crew members in the audience, and slowly Carolyn has been bringing in a few people so that we can start to feel what it will be like with a real audience, which helps.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. That's one of the things that I've noticed with these types of plays. Some things it's not that big of a deal. Like if it's a musical or whatever. I mean, the music kind of carries the show along, and so if there's timing gaps. But when it's funny and Neil Simon, it just that fast-paced thing, you just have to be so on it all the time. You could never let down your guard for any length of time.
Yeah, and I know that's what Carolyn's been trying to instill in us, that this whole piece is like a piece of classical music, It's going to have its own pace, and you have to kind of let it be have its own life,
right?
In a way.
Like count, but also feel,
Yeah.
and be responsive enough to be able to just get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's fun.
it is.
Learning how to work with each other.
Yeah, this is my first time working with Leslie and a lot of the people
same
in the
for me.
cast.
So you're kind of the newbie guy with this cast.
Yes, I am.
Okay. And when you were in DC, did you act or did you do any directing as well?
Throughout college, I did a lot of improv. That was kind of my acting outlet. And after college, a group of us formed our own theater group called Pointless Theater. It's in DC. And there I took on more of like directing, writing. We produced our own shows, made our own shows, but we just got together and had fun, basically. So sometimes you'd act, sometimes you'd be behind the scenes, and you just got a feel for this theatrical family, if you will.
Were they just broken up when you said, I'm leaving? I'm going to Oregon. See you later.
Yeah, they were. Fortunately, by the time I left, we had kind of established like a stable place for us. We had just won the Best Emerging Theater Company in DC award at the Helen Hayes Awards there in DC. So I knew I was leaving them in good hands.
To pack up your Conestoga wagon and head out across the prairie.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, have any of them been out to visit?
No, but I'm sure they're on their way. No, they've been very busy with their own shows as well.
Well, that's great. So, I mean, you really left on a high note. Wow, it doesn't usually work like that, does it?
No.
I think that's fabulous. I mean, a lot of people would not choose to walk away from something like that at that particular point. So I think it's great that you were able to just sail off on a high note.
Yeah, and I always have a place with them. If I
Sure.
come back for a summer and they're doing a show, I know I can
Just ease right in.
just ease right in. Yeah.
And you were a theater major, right, in college?
Yes, yeah. So I've been doing theater for about 20 years now, and that's what my degree is in from Willamette University.
And do you do any directing?
I haven't at gallery. I have in the past, not professionally, but I have done it, but not at gallery.
Do you think it's something you might want to pursue down the road?
It interests me, but I prefer being on stage.
Do you?
Yeah, that's definitely
a lot
my
more
favorite. Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. I always wonder when people, they have a lot of experience, if you ever get to the point where you think, I could do your job, I could do that. I could be the puppet master and move people around, or if it's just always so much fun to kind of inhabit a character that you think, no, that's really the best, Yeah. This show is, so let's see, after we just did the big Oklahoma, the big
Yes.
musical, and then the one after you will be another big musical, White
White
Christmas.
Christmas.
So you're kind of the calm between two big storms.
I don't know
Not-
if I would
the-
call
It's
us
not
the
calm.
The loud, excitable calm.
The loud
train.
excited. Well, but this is, I guess this is maybe more, like sort of the adult evening or something, not
Yes.
necessarily take the kids and
Absolutely.
do that. This is, go have a fun theater night with
Yes.
adults.
Definitely.
And that's, because Neil Simon's not for kids.
No.
But it's nice and short. The musicals are very kind of long, lengthy pieces. This is kind of quick punch.
Punchy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think most people will be home by 10.
And I think one of the things about gallery is that you can always tell when you're coming up on intermission because of those ancient seats. It's like your bones just start to go, okay, it's time to, this has got to be the second to the last song. Oh, I got to stand up. So this will be great for me.
Yes.
I feel like you need a break. No, it's nice. Sometimes that's nice.
It is.
As I recall from when I saw it last time, I was just laughing from start to finish. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you think, okay, this is, and it just kind of rolls from one to the next, like you were saying. So it's you never really feel like there's downtime. It's just always up, 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 up. Yeah.
Yes. Even backstage, I still laugh at parts of the show. They're just so funny. It's just ridiculous.
And sometimes it's just the way people say them too.
Right.
Like if somebody figures out just the perfect way to deliver that line for maximum effect, you're like, now that's funny.
Yes.
So costumes, we were talking about late 80s. So the shoulder pads and all the fun, funky trip down memory lane.
Sequins,
Okay.
large earrings.
The men don't have as much fun. We are all in
Not as many
all in
sequins on the
tuxedos.
I remember that a friend of mine had moved to Reno right around like that late 80s, right, 1990. And so I went down and visited her, and we went shopping, and they had all these, it was Reno, all these like sequiny cocktail dresses, right? So I bought this dress, and I thought if I just lose a little bit of weight, that's gonna fit me. Well, I didn't. I went the other way, and I gained a ton of weight. But then 10 years later, I lost a lot of weight. And by the time I put the dress on it, I mean, it was just hanging on me. It was completely out of style. It was hopeless. I wore it once. I think I sent it down to gallery to the costume room, so it might still be hanging there. But it really was. It was like short and glittery and crazy and thinking, what was I thinking?
Right.
But I kept it in my closet as kind of like that thing that, I'm going to get there.
Yes. That sequence. I'll
So
wear
it'll be
those
fun to see
sequins.
the costumes.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're obviously not wearing that tuxedo or something.
No, but it's a nice tux.
Something
Yeah.
tasteful,
Very tasteful. Yes.
as it would be for a socialite of your stature.
Of course.
So
Not to say that things don't happen to that tux throughout the night, but
yeah,
yes, it starts off tasteful.
hopefully nothing that can be remedied by next performance.
Of course.
So let's run through the dates again.
Okay.
October 16th through November 7th.
Perfect.
on
Okay.
Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Okay. Tickets online or at the box office. Well, thank you both for being here today. I look forward to the show.
All right, thank you.